Hello everyone and welcome back. In this video I'm going to talk to you about another very interesting twist in the Baker Act. And this has to do with a family basically being coerced to participate in a family program as a condition of their loved one being released, which just is completely ridiculous. So here's the situation. Family reached out to us. They've had a loved one now who has been held for, it's now a week, okay? It sounds like, first of all, that they should never have been Baker Acted. The second thing that's happened is that they got tricked into signing a voluntary admission agreement, and we had to explain to them that once you sign to be voluntary, yes, you're still Baker Acted, because remember, there's two types of Baker Act here in Florida, involuntary and voluntary. The only thing is that now you're voluntary, there's no clock ticking, meaning that your hold is potentially indefinite, without a hearing, without a lawyer, without a judge, none of that stuff. They don't have to prove a single thing. Why? Well, because you've agreed to stay there. And even though the statute requires that you give informed consent, well, who's there making sure they do it right? And oh, by the way, you can't sue them for any of this stuff, so, well, they don't care. Why would they? And so in this particular instance, despite the fact their loved one's now been there a week, there's been no hearing, they got coerced into signing this voluntary admission agreement. And the facility says, well, if you agree to stay another 3 days and participate in a family program, whatever that might be, it sounds like a bunch of hooey to me when they're going to get the family to come in, they're going to go through all the background, give them a lecture, and then supposedly let their loved one go. I think that's just a catastrophe waiting to happen. And even if they do let their loved one go, so now they'll have been there for 10 days when they shouldn't have been there at all. I'm sorry, it's just not right. But look, when you call us, it's a no judgment zone. If you decide that that's what you want, then that's what you want. But I've seen women be sexually assaulted in facilities. I've had somebody that was beaten up. I've seen terrible things happen in Baker Act facilities. And I've also had my own family member Baker Acted. Let's be clear about that. And I've shared that with you on other videos. So I wouldn't let a loved one stay in a facility for a minute longer than they absolutely have to, which is why, as you have seen in any of these videos I put out about the Baker Act, is that you shouldn't wait to fight to get your loved one out. Even if they were legally Baker Acted, you have options. And right now, you don't have any, because your right to make decisions for your loved one, your rights to make decisions regarding their health care and their mental health care has been terminated, as has their rights. The state of Florida has assumed and is now in full and complete control. And so, frankly, even if you and I did this video yesterday, I think, even if you have a healthcare proxy, they're free to trample all over this thing. You have to go and enforce your rights, which is why I'm like, don't wait. This whole thing with the family program, I've also seen people who are released on the condition they come back for aftercare. Again, complete garbage. Just a shakedown to get more money out of these people and more money out of their health insurance. And so look, if the facility is not letting your loved one go and they're sort of conditioning it on doing this or doing that, and you are doing these things because you hope that your loved one is going to get released, I think that we should talk. I fight the good fight every year. We file about 150 cases to get people out of these draconian, broken mental health facilities that are for profit. And I'm not saying the Baker Act is never to be used, because we use it in our practice too, but only when it's appropriate, legally appropriate. Anyway, I want to share that with you. If you've been asked to participate in some aftercare or a family program or some other ridiculous condition that's supposedly going to get your loved one released, and it may not get your loved one released, by the way, and it means they're going to have to sit there for a few more days, we should talk. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. I would love a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.